season 2 of Rise and Thrive
Yeah,
with Dr.
yeah,
Jen.
we rise, we thrive. Yeah, we step in our light. Feel good, we alive. Everything aligned. Yeah, we rise and thrive with Dr. J. Nicole. Give a long way, yeah, we still growing.
Welcome back to Rise and Thrive with Dr. Jen Nicole. And today we're talking about something that completely transformed the way that I evaluate my life, my decisions, my relationships, and my relationship with God. The fruit of the Spirit. If you've been going to church any amount of time, you've probably heard the list before: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, right? But somewhere along the way, many of us started viewing this as personality traits rather than evidence. The fruit of the Spirit isn't a checklist. It's evidence, right? Evidence that we're walking with God, evidence that God is working in us, evidence that we're becoming more like Christ. And the reason this became so important to me is because there was a season in my life where I realized that I had drifted. Not necessarily, well, it was from church. I did drift from church, right? But not necessarily from my faith. And I was absolutely drifted out of alignment. And I was accomplishing things, I was building things, I was doing things, I was showing up for everybody else. And I had gotten away from the basics, right? And sometimes the most powerful spiritual question isn't what should I do next? It's what do I need to return to? And for me, those answers came from the fruit of the Spirit. So the fruit of the Spirit is more than just your spiritual life. One of the biggest misconceptions that I think people have about the fruit of the Spirit is that it only applies to church. Not at all. It applies to your entire life. And I mean every aspect of your life. It applies to how you show up at work, how you handle conflict, how you date, how you parent, how you respond when you're disappointed, when you make decisions, how you treat people who can do nothing for you. The fruit of the Spirit show up everywhere and every single time. Okay. And because, faith isn't compartmentalized. That's a big part of it that you have to understand. Like faith is in every area of our life. And if God is transforming your life, that transformation should be visible beyond Sunday. hmm So let's start with love. Most people think of love as a feeling. Biblically, love is a commitment. It's choosing what is good, even when it's inconvenient. Love is showing up with boundaries, is showing up with honesty. Love is showing up with forgiveness. And it shows up in how we speak to ourselves as well as others. And some of us are extending grace to everybody except ourselves. And that matters too. Now, let's talk a little bit about joy. Joy isn't happiness, okay? Happiness depends on circumstances. Joy comes from knowing that God is still God and He is always on the throne, no matter what the circumstances are, what's not happening in your life that you would think, or just what's going wrong, right? And joy is what remains when promotion doesn't happen. It's still there, okay? And when the relationship don't work out, you still got joy. When the timeline doesn't look the way that you prepared, you still have joy. Joy says, I may not understand what's happening right now, but I know who's with me, okay? Now let's talk a little bit about peace. Peace has become one of my favorite indicators of alignment. It's one of the most clear, in fact, right? And so when I'm forcing something, that's when my peace disappears. It feels heavy. I can tell I'm trying to make it happen on my time or in my will. And that's always a reminder for me to fall back and remember whose I am. I'm a daughter of the Most High King. And so there's no reason for me to be doing all this. And I ask my Father for his help, and my peace returns, right? And in him, we find perfect peace. When I'm moving faster than him, that phew, faster than what God is leading, that's absolutely where that peace is out of there. And so even in knowing that I have him, right, it doesn't always mean that life is going to be easy, but he can absolutely make it easier. And when you know who you are, whose you are, it's easy for peace to be an anchor. And I think it's a reminder that God is still in control whenever anything in our life feels uncertain. For years, I've been traveling the world, and honestly, I kind of been gatekeeping it. The beautiful resorts, the hidden gems, the cultural experiences, the moments that completely reset you and remind you there's so much more in life to experience. But I'm not doing that anymore. I've officially partnered with Trova Trip because I'm ready to start creating unforgettable experiences with you. Think luxury meets culture, beautiful destinations, incredible food, amazing energy, new memories, new friendships, the kind of trip that you talk about for years after you get back home. And the best part, we're doing it together. I want to know where you want to go. Bali, Morocco, Tanzania, south of France, somewhere else completely? Tell me. This is your official invitation to travel with Dr. J. Join the VIP list now for early access to destination reveals, trip drops, and priority booking opportunities before they are released publicly. If you're ready for experiences that feel intentional, elevated, and forgettable, my link is in the bio. Come see the world with me. All right, beautiful people. If this episode has already blessed you in any sort of way, we ask that you like, subscribe, follow, share, and leave comments. Feedback helps this message reach the people who need it most. And if you're listening and thinking, I'm ready to go deeper in my healing journey, we invite you to join our school community where we continue these conversations between episodes, and it's an opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals committed to growth, healing, and purpose. Also, do not forget, you can shop the merch and also explore all things Evolve at evolvewithdrjnicole.com. If you love today's look and you're wondering about this hair, you can use my promo code with the link in the description to get 15% off with Eunice Hair. That's UNICE. Thank you for rising with us. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Patience. Nobody likes patience, but baby, we all need it. And we really be wanting answers right now. We want results right now. We want breakthrough right now. But patience develops in us in God's perfect timing, right? Like if patience develops something in us that instant gratification never can. Patience will teach us trust. Patience will teach us surrender. And it teaches us that God is just as present in the process as he is in the outcome. Okay. So we have to remember that we got to stay locked in and not get distracted by the way that things appear. Now, kindness. Kindness is powerful. You know why it's so powerful? Because it's free. Kindness does not cost you anything. It costs so little and it can change so much. And the world is becoming increasingly harsh, increasingly divided, and increasingly reactive. So kindness is a choice to remain compassionate, even when compassion isn't popular, right? Like, because there are some people who we don't want to have much compassion for, right? But we're still called to do so. And it's also just a reminder like being compassionate is not about being weak. It's really and truly about being intentional and, just showing the love of God. And then we have that goodness. Goodness is integrity. It's who you are when nobody's watching, right? No one's there to police you, to check you, to hold you accountable. Are you being good on your own time? Goodness is about aligning your actions with your values. It's about choosing what's right, not just when it's convenient or when it serves your needs or your agenda or what you have going on that particular day. Goodness is character because character matters, and especially when no one is applauding. Now, we're going to talk quickly about faithfulness. Faithfulness isn't flashy, right? Like, we're not giving the Pharisees and the Sadducees doing all the public things, right? Like, faithfulness is about consistency. It's about showing up. It's about continuing even when the motivation leaves. And many of us want dramatic spiritual growth. I know I'll be like, God, I'm ready right now. And don't be ready. But I'm willing, right? And so growth is often built through ordinary faithfulness, really and truly, through prayer, through obedience, through trust. And it's really built one day at a time. Gentleness. This is one of the most misunderstood fruits because gentleness is not weakness. Gentleness is strength under control. Okay? It's active, it's intentional, It's knowing that you can react differently and you can choose wisdom, you can choose love, you can choose kindness, you can choose any number of things regardless of what's presented to you. It looks like choosing grace, it looks like choosing restraint. And the older I get, the more experience that I get, the more I appreciate the power of gentleness. We have a choice about how we show up in this world. And then you have self control. Self control may be the fruit that impacts every other area of our lives. It influences our words, our spending, our habits, our health, our relationships, our reactions. Self control isn't about restriction, contrary to popular belief. It is about stewardship. It's about recognizing that every decision is shaping who we are becoming. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about why I created the Fruit of the Spirit devotional. As I spent some time reflecting on the fruit of the Spirit myself, I realized that this wasn't just a study, that it was an invitation to return, to slow down, to reflect, and to pray, and to really allow God to do a deeper work. And that is why I created the Fruit of the Spirit devotional, not just because I wanted to give people something to read, but rather to create a space where we can engage with God intentionally, with reflection, with prayer, and a space for spiritual growth. Because no matter where you are on your journey, you can always return. And every time you return, God has something new to reveal. And if you'd like to go deeper, you can find the Fruit of the Spirit devotional on Amazon. The link is in the description. Until next time, keep rising in faith and keep thriving in purpose.